This is my wife's new Longarm quilting machine, and it was used when we got it because they cost a fortune if you buy them, new. So anyway, this one was a used machine, and when we first got it, it's the first one we've ever had, the first one we've ever used. You would have trouble making a good circle because what happens is the way it works is you've got a track down here. Let me pull you in here where you can see a little better. So you've got a track down here that runs you this way and a track up here that runs this way. And so in order to make a circle, you've got to get these to intertwine just right. And so these are some new wheels that I just made for it. And this is the wheel that was on there. And I'll take you down to the shop and show you the differences between them here in a minute. But basically what was happening was these wheels are just beveled on the sides. And so when they were sitting in these tracks, they were wedging down into these tracks, kind of trying to wedge them apart. Because this machine's really heavy. It's hard for one person to pick it up. It's so heavy. It's, steel. These had quite a bit of weight on them, pushing them down into that groove. And my thought was, well, that's probably causing a lot of resistance. So what I did was I redesigned the wheels so they have a center part that rides in the channel to keep it from falling out. But then the actual bearing part is on top of the channel. And when I went and looked at some old photographs of this machine when it was new, it looked more like that's the style of wheel it had that actually rode on top of this channel. And now you can see it moves so easily, it just almost moves on its own. But now you can make a perfect circle and you can follow these designs. She's got an old sheet over here that she's practicing on. Before, the way that these wheels were wedged into those grooves, you could go once you got it moving in a line, it would move in that line really well, but when you tried to turn and go this way, you'd have to force it kind of. And so you could make squares relatively easy. You couldn't make a circle because you needed those wheels to be friction free in order to be able to change directions really quickly. So if you have a long arm and you're having trouble getting it to follow effortlessly a shape, like say this flower right here, then you need to look at your wheels and possibly replace those, because that's the issue that we were having here. You could, as you were making a circle, it just wouldn't go, and then you'd finally go and you'd be up here, and the circle would just be crazy. So anyway, hope that's helpful to you. Here's a comparison of the wheels. This of course is the original, and this is the one that I made, redesigned, and this is a quick video of me making it. I pretty much just used a boring, I drilled them out, then used a boring bar and then a parting tool to get these lines right here. So to make these wheels, I've got a piece of 1 3/4 inch Delrin in here, and I've already pre-drilled it out to 5/8. And I know nobody's probably going to make these because, who owns a Longarm quilting machine and a lathe? So, but I mean, if you're interested in the plans for these, I do have a drawing of it. Just, I may put them on my website. If so, I'll link it in the description. If not, just send me an email and I'll email them to you. But anyway, so the comparison is, you can see they just kind of bevel over, and where this black thing is, there's a little ridge where it had actually worn a flat spot. But between these two, it had pinched itself in between that rail, and especially as you'd run down, little variations in the rail would make this tighter or looser or whatever, but regardless, it was still too tight. And so my thought was that if I made something like this, where you have this part that keeps it between the rails, and then it rides here and it rides there, and then the bore is it's got bearings on the inside, like roller skate bearings, and so there's I think 3 of them that fit down in here and hold it in place. So anyway, that's really all there was to this, but boy, I mean, it sure made a new machine out of it. It just works really great now. So anyway, I hope this was interesting to you. Thank you for watching.